The Milwaukee Brewers continue to exceed all expectations, and what the pitching is currently doing with this team is nothing but incredible. We're going to be breaking that down, as well as going over today's game against the Pittsburgh Pirates, as well as one name who has been surprising everybody when it comes to this season. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to cover today. Before we do jump into the breakdown of today's game, as well as a bit of extra news, very quickly, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. We're on the road to 1K, and we're nearly there. We're at about 830 subscribers, and your support's been absolutely phenomenal. We have a lot of stuff to cover before the postseason, so you will not want to miss it. But like I said, that's all I got here for this one. So be sure to hit that sub button. But let's get straight into this video, because obviously heading into today's game, we knew this Brewers team was needing another big win here ahead of what is going to be another very important month of September, along with a lot of important games coming up, and not necessarily against our own opponents, including, the Cubs having some games, as well as the Philadelphia Phillies. We have a lot of important ones, but coming into this game today, a 4-1 win against the Pirates with, once again, not the offense we're normally used to seeing. However, it was still a very good game, and a game that you want to take in and, kind of go forward with it, because obviously, there's only 2 scoring innings. The 4th and the 8th, you get 2 runs in each, 4-1 win. But when you have your pitching doing what it's doing, which we're going to talk about here in a moment, it will suffice. But obviously, you do want much more when it comes down to it. But going into the hitting very quick before the pitching, when you're looking at the hitters in today's game, Sal Frelick has been someone that has been really exceeding all expectations. This year has really been his year. And going for a .299 average, continuing on with that, and staying that as, a floor. That is a phenomenal pace that he's been continuing on with. There was a lot of people saying, yeah, he's going to slow down. He's going to kind of hit a wall, but he is not, and he has just genuinely continued to surprise everybody, and you see a 775 OPS to pair along with that. And when you go down through this roster, looking at the OPS, this is really just showing how good this team has been, and even including, Blake Perkins, Joey Ortiz, some players who have gotten a little bit hot recently and slowed down once again, but everybody here has really been going and continuing on with what the Brewers need to do, and that is just attack whoever they're going up against to be able to kind of get out these dog wins. Even if your power is not on, you're going to be just overpowering any pitcher you do come up against. Now, also here in this game, Jake Bauers getting a two hits and that home run there in the 4th to start off the scoring in this game here, and nearly going on a shutout streak on this game, or a shutout in this game, if it weren't for that 9th inning. But the pitchers in this game, of course, another phenomenal start from our starting pitch. And Brandon Woodruff here in this game goes 6 innings, 2 hits, 8 Ks. This is the 3rd game in a row, and we're going to get to jump into another stat here in a moment, that we have seen a excellent start from our starting pitching, and this is what we're going to see very soon when we get to the postseason. Once again, I'm going to kind of discuss that further here, but when you have your 3 top guys going, and even having some other extra assets here that we're going to see over the next couple days, when the bullpen is hurt, this is exactly where this team needs to stand and need to be when it comes down to coming to these games later in September and early October. You're going to need to get your starting pitcher to go as far as they can, do as well as they can, while you're slim in the bullpen. Now, in this game, the bullpen was pretty solid, no strikeouts outside of the bullpen except for Aaron Ashby, but when you're coming down to it, I don't care if you're getting a strikeout, I don't care what's happening. The only thing that matters here is that you're coming into this game, getting your job done, shutting it out. You see, a third of an inning for Zastrinski and Myers. Eric Fedde, 2 outs with 1 hit, and coming in, Aaron Ashby, 1 inning and 2/3. Cannot complain about that whatsoever. 1 earned run there, like I said, in the 9th, but with 2 Ks, he got his job done, especially when you're giving Abner Uribe a day off. So, overall, the pitching here in this game was something that we need to continue to see. But when you're having games like this where your offense may not necessarily be firing on all cylinders, even though you're getting 8 hits, 4 runs, many of which are coming really in clusters, this is the kind of pitching that you're going to need for these games in specific. And if your pitching's off, you're going to need to get more runs, and this team has been very good with that this year, and continuing on with it has just been genuinely phenomenal. Now, the player of this game was Brandon Woodruff. You see a 35% win percentage added, so, he added a very hefty win percentage to this game, of course, starting out the game with no runs, 8 Ks over the 6 innings, giving the time for the offense to heat up. And realistically and ideally, you'd want them to start early, but Brandon Woodruff really, once again, another solid one. And as he spoke about, a very big option to be extended here in this offseason by the Milwaukee Brewers. So go check that video out if you haven't already. I think it brings up a lot of good points about what the staff is going to look like heading into next season. But when you go from here, this from Adam McCalvey, as I mentioned about the starting pitching here on this team, Freddy Peralta, Quinn Priester, and Brandon Woodruff the past 3 days, 18 innings, 10 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and 22 strikeouts. If that's how the Brewers would line up in an NLDS rotation, you could see it be pretty formidable. Long way to go, though, but 4-1 win over Pittsburgh. So you're looking at your rotation there, going from Peralta, Priester, Woodruff. Ideally, you'll have Logan Henderson back come playoffs. Jacob Misiorowski also here, and we spoke about him potentially moving to the bullpen. Not exactly sure about that still yet. I think we have a lot of time to actually get out there and figure that out by that time. But getting into this game and having to be, the past 3 games in mind and seeing this set of starters from your rotation coming in and doing exactly this is a very positive sign for that. And realistically should give the hitters an opportunity saying, hey, they're helping us here along the way. We need to help them to come down to the later half of the season when we know arms are going to be tired and when we know bodies are going to be tired. So this is another kind of just a thing that I think this Brewers team already knows. There's no doubt about that. They know what they're doing right now. They know what they're trying to planning and going forward with and what they're scheming going forward with. But the pitching has been nothing short of genuinely insane heading into this stretch of September thus far, and we want to see it continue. And of course, heading into the next few games, we're going to have some big things going forward. Now, going in as well to this game, the Cubs lose today to the Washington Nationals, 2-1. A very big loss for them, a very big win for us, I guess, in 2 terms of us winning and the Cubs losing. But you see the Nationals, Braves, and the Rays coming up for them as well. Over these next games, if they're losing to the teams like the Nationals, even though we have as well, this is going to be a very good sign that if they continue to do this, if they come into this game tomorrow, another drop game, this is only going to benefit the Brewers. And especially when we're taking a look at the magic numbers right now, the NL Central is 14. The first seed in the NL is 15. The MLB first seed is 14. And the postseason is 6. So the postseason, everything but lockdown at this point. And also going into the NL Central and the NL first seed, we have a pretty similar number that we got to get to. And this is very, very doable as long as this Brewers team keeps continuing to play the way they are and continuing to get back to, a few people coming off a little slump here. And we're fully expecting that. We know it can happen. And we know that this Brewers team going forward is going to be absolutely on wheels. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about today's game as well heading into tomorrow. Another very important one. Does not kind of surpass that at all. This is also just a very important game coming up. Every game coming up is going to be more and more important than the last, and this team knows this, the players know that, and as well as the teams that the Brewers are going up against know the importance of these games for this Brewers team. So we got to lock it in. We're getting ready for it, and like I said, I'm going to have all of your Brewers news right here for you on the channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button if you're enjoying the content and want to stay up to date with your Brewers news here and on the go. But like I said, that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. I'm still on it, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.